Hey legends! Welcome back to another thrilling What If adventure. This is your boy, Chronos, here to blow your minds with part 1 of What If Deku Had Ultra Instinct. You already know we keep it fresh and wild, so buckle up for a ride you won't forget. Huge shout out to Definitely Not TKJ, the mastermind behind the series. Be sure to show them some love for their incredible work. And a massive thanks to you, legends, for your constant support. You all make this possible. Alright, let's dive straight into the action and see how our boy Deku handles the ultimate, instinctive power. Let's go. Chapter 1 Beginnings, Izuku POV. Hiya, I'm Izuku Midoriya and I'm gonna tell you about how I became a hero. 11 years ago, doctor's office. Sorry kid, I'm afraid it's not gonna happen. The doctor said, What? My mom replied, I didn't say anything. I was just in shock. The bangs of my black hair with green highlights hanging over my head. I'm afraid the kid's not gonna get a quirk. He continued, Oh goodness. My mom said with tears seeping out of her green eyes. I'm afraid you can't be a hero. I finally replied, bangs still seeping over my face. What? He replied confused. My mother looked at me as well. You were going to say that I can't be a hero, right? That's what's wrong with the world. They both looked at me with shocked faces. After all, I was 4 years old and talking about the problems of the world. 80%. 80% of this world has been born with a gift. How they use it can make a hero or a villain. But what about the rest of the world? What if they want to become heroes more than anything, yet are being held back by the philosophy that you need a quirk to become a hero? That's why, no matter what you or anyone else says, I looked up with determination in my eyes. I will become a hero, become a pillar of hope to everyone. They will know my name and know they are safe. I will become the next symbol of peace. They looked at me dumbfounded, but I never wavered. I meant every word. Soon, the doctor smiled along with my mother. That's my boy, my mother said happily while she hugged me. If anyone can do it, it's you, kid, the doctor said. The next day, ow! I was sent tumbling to the ground by my best friend, Katsuki Bakugo, aka Kaken. Kaken? Why? I ask as I try to get up. I'm hit with another explosion sending me right to the poles of the swing set of the playground we're at. Ah, do you really think you can become a hero with no quirk? You're a loser. Why would anyone pay attention to you when they have me? Kaken said as he was lighting sparks in his hands. You're worthless, Deku. He continued, You'll never amount to anything except my footstool on my path to success. I couldn't even hear him because I was fading in and out of consciousness. My mind was going blank. I couldn't figure out how to move. Suddenly, I remembered everything from the previous day, finding out I was quirkless, giving the speech to the doctor and my mom being so happy with me, and getting me ready to start training. I remembered it all in that moment. I felt hotter and hotter and I could feel and sense everything for miles around. I could feel my unkempt hair rising and most of all, my body was moving on its own. No. He suddenly stopped. I don't care anymore, I continued. Whether you like it or not, I'm gonna be the greatest hero ever. I rushed at blinding speeds that I couldn't keep up with, mostly because I wasn't the one moving. It was my body like it had a mind of its own. I punched Kaken so hard in the gut that he was instantly knocked out. All you could see was a blue, purple, and white combination of heat shaping around my bodies like an aura. Yet it was all heat. My eyes were silver, and my hair was standing up, waving in the aura. And then, everything went black. 2 days later, I find myself waking up in a hospital with something grabbing my small and soft hand. It was my mom. How long have I been out? I wondered. Suddenly, the doctor walks in. Oh, so you're awake. That's good to hear. Your mother has been worried sick about you. I turned to see the woman with long black hair and dark brown eyes, possibly in her mid-20s. Where am I? What happened? You're in the hospital, sweetie, she replied. Someone found you unconscious on the playground and immediately brought you here. Your skin felt so hot, like you stayed out in the sun too much. You had severe burns everywhere, and your body seemed to be in a lot of pain and you were so exhausted, and your arm was broken. My eyes widened at that statement. If I'm being honest, It's a miracle a little boy like you was able to pull through such devastating injuries. Did all that really happen? Was it Kaken? No, couldn't be. Then, what? I suddenly gasped. Could it be? I was broken out of my thought process when my mother stirred awake and immediately crushed me. Izuku, I was so worried. I thought I lost you. Are you okay? Are you hurt? I'm so sorry. My mom kept rambling about how she was worried and she was glad I was okay. But I wasn't really listening. I was, 1, trying to breathe. 2, trying to figure out what actually happened to me. Later, the car ride home was pretty uneventful. I was so deep in thought that I didn't bother to say anything. Then I realized that I should probably tell my mom about it. Mom, I said. Yes, Izuku. She replied, I think I got a quirk. My mother was completely shocked. She didn't say anything for a good minute. What? BB, but how? I don't know, Mom, but I can remember the feeling. I felt hot, like really hot, and I couldn't figure out how to move, and I could feel and sense things for miles. What's crazy is that my body wouldn't move for 1 second, but started moving the next. I couldn't even stop it. It was just my instincts. I told my mom this, and she seemed surprised. She was happy as well. When we got home, we discussed what to do and decided that I should try and get a better understanding of this quirk before we reveal it. 3 years later, most 7-year-olds live life as best as they can. Try to have fun, use their quirks. Watch All Might. You know what I do at 7? I train. Not too much considering my age, but I train enough that I can get a real sweat out of it. Ever since that day, I unlocked my quirk. I would train to try and figure it out. However, it's extremely difficult to enter the state and even stay in it for that matter. It requires a clear mind so the body can move on its own. And well, my personality doesn't mix very well with that. As of right now, I can only use it for about 30 seconds before I'm spent. However, I found out that my quirk relies on instincts, so that's how I trained. I trained so that my instincts would react to movement so I could be fast enough and strong enough, without having to rely on my quirk, at least until I was able to control it. Turns out, the human body is capable of much more when you use your instincts. I've become super strong and super fast, especially for a 7-year-old. I still am not fast enough to react instantaneously, but that's not the point. That's technically not possible, at least without my quirk. The point is to be able to react on instinct, to sense danger and have the speed, power, and agility to counter. That's my goal. My quirk is my ace up my sleeve. After all, the possibilities are endless with a quirk like mine. I've decided to keep my strength and training under wraps. Kaken still bullies me and beats me up along with his lackeys mostly because he doesn't remember the day I mopped the floor with him. However, I just use it as endurance training, to make my body stronger to withstand the heat that my quirk emits. So I can better control and release it on command. There's a lot to do and I'm gonna shoot for the moon. I'm currently walking home from school, after another beating, but it doesn't hurt as much, which means it's working. I notice a girl, about my age, walking on the sidewalk across from me. She has brown bob-cut hair. Looks like she has a permanent blush on her cheeks. She's got positivity all around her. Normally, I'd be a blushing, stuttering mess just by looking at her. But with a quirk like mine, you tend to adapt. I've become a lot more carefree and confident. It assists me in using my quirk since my mind is separated from my body. I smiled and turned to follow her. Maybe I can introduce myself. As I get to her place, I see something horrible. She was on the ground with some visible bruises and 3 boys were surrounding her. There weren't many people around to see this. She looked scared, and the other 3 were at least 2 years older than her. PP, please. Stop. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bump into you. Please, don't hurt me anymore. The girl pleaded. Oh, is that supposed to do something? One said, yeah, you bumped into him. Now you gotta pay. Another said, that's right, boys. The other, I assume the one bumped into, said, let's get her. Suddenly they all rushed to her and were about to beat her up. She was crying and screaming for help, but there was no one around. The positivity I felt completely vanished, and she was about to be at those jerks' mercy. They all lunged forward and punched the ground. The girl that was once on the ground was completely gone, like she vanished. It's not very nice to hit girls, you know. I saved her at the last second and am now carrying her bridal style. while looking with a seemingly emotionless face. In reality, I was trying to seem cool. The girl opened her eyes and looked up at her savior, a seemingly plain-faced boy with unruly green hair and freckles. She seemed a bit mesmerized. Then she got a faint blush. Sigh, what to do? What to do? I've got a pretty girl in my arms and 3 losers that tried to hurt her. Quite the predicament, I'd say. Her blush became more and more visible. PP pretty? She thought. How did you do that? Jerk number 1 said. How? That's of no concern to you. After all, you'll be knocked out in the next 10 seconds. Oh yeah. Jerk number 2 replied while charging at me. Let's get him. Jerk number 3 said, and they all began charging me. I looked down to the girl and she was just staring at me, not even caring about the people that were charging at me. I smiled at her, at which she started blushing. Do you trust me? I asked with a smile. She nodded. Good, I replied. Everything is going to be okay. You want to know why? I turned my head and see them right in front of me. Jerk number 1 threw a punch, but I gracefully sidestepped, while using one arm to use his momentum and slammed him to the ground, knocking him out. Jerk number 2 thought he could sneak attack me and punch me in the back of my head, but I simply tilted my head to the right, used my free hand and flipped him over my shoulder. Jerk number 3 tried a final attack, but I held the girl closer and backflipped in place and landed with a stomp to his back, slamming him into the ground. He was done. Of course, I made sure to hold back so they wouldn't be too injured. I look at the girl and smile. Now she's just looking at me with a shocked face, while still blushing. Because I am here. I set her down and she seems slightly disappointed. Not extremely disappointed, but enough for it to be noticeable. I smiled at this as she tried to speak. Who are you? She managed to ask. Me. I'm just a guy coming to save someone in need. That's what I believe is a hero. I gestured my thumb to myself. And you're looking at the future number 1. She started smiling while still blushing. Thank you so much for saving me. You're really cool. And super fast and strong too. She suddenly rushed and hugged me really tightly. I started furiously blushing. My personality may have changed, but not fully. Push the right buttons and I become the same blushing, stuttering mess I've always been. And no problem, she reluctantly released, much to my disappointment. I'm Ochako Uraraka. So what's your quirk? You must have one super cool one if you did all that. My quirk is 0 gravity. Anything I touch becomes weightless. I'm still trying to control it though. Quirk? I didn't use a quirk, I replied. She looked at me dumbfounded. You didn't use a quirk? She asked, still not believing her ears. I nodded and turned to face the other way, in a sort of dramatic manner to further my point. Despite what the world claims, you don't need a quirk to become powerful. My quirk explained that more to me. My goal is to become the next symbol of peace. Someone who can bring hope to the whole world, whether you're quirkless or not. I will be their guide. I've explained my goal to others and they all laughed. I've been bullied for years now, beaten up, torn apart, like clockwork. Her eyes widened, but I still fight on, so that I will prove to everyone that I can do it. I believe in you, she shouted. I believe that you can become the next symbol of peace, even without a quirk. Thank you. You're my first supporter, also my first save. I'll always remember you, I said while she blushed. The next time you see me, I'll be even stronger, and I'll be number 1. Don't forget it. My name is Izuku Midoriya. I turned to face her. But you can call me Deku, I said as I walked off and left her to think of what happened. I heard a faint squeal from behind me and I smiled. Yes, Izuku. That was so cool. I can't believe I did that. That was awesome. I'm on my way home, still thinking about Uraraka and how cool I sounded talking to her, when suddenly a muscular figure jumped in front of me. I am here. I look up to see the one and only All Might. Whoa, it's All Might, I exclaimed. Suddenly, he reverted to some skinny, weird-looking dude. Oh, a fake. I assure you I'm not a fake. He told me everything. His injury, his time limit, and his quirk. I ran out of time when I saw that little girl get picked on. I knew I wasn't in my muscle form, but I at least wanted to do something. That's when I saw you. What you did to those 3, how you saved that girl, and your motives to become a hero. I don't think I can find a more worthy successor. So, will you allow me to train you so you can inherit my quirk? One for all. I thought long and hard about it before I made my decision. No, I replied. I knew you'd wait. What? As much as I'd love to have your quirk, I feel that I need training with my own before I do something like that. Besides, there might be another person to give it to. Oh, yeah, it's a long shot, but I can sense that they are perfect for your quirk. However, if you're offering, I want to ask if you can train me. And when the time comes, I'll train the new successor myself. He seemed to be pondering what to do before he replied. All right, I'll take you up on it. From that day on, I trained harder and harder every single day. I dropped from school to homeschool so I can train harder. I needed no distractions. I made sure that my intellect grew instead of decreased. And to be completely honest, I can't believe I'm still alive. I nearly died 148 different times. In the first month, apparently age didn't matter much to All Might, or at least Gran Torino. He was ruthless. Some other of All Might's friends helped in my training, and I made excellent progress. I found out that my quirk not only emits heat, but energy as well. I can manipulate this energy to float and even fly. I can use energy attacks as well and even use my heat as a base as well. I soon figured out a weakness to my quirk. My strength is cut down immensely because my body is too focused on moving that I have to think in order to attack, which weakens my quirk rather than strengthen it. So we trained and even harder to counteract this. We eventually found a whole new level of my quirk, but it was even harder to handle than the previous level. I think Gran Torino got even angrier at me because my training to achieve this new level made my other training seem like child's play. After 7 long years of training, I finally mastered my quirk. Now all that's left is to become even stronger without it, much like I did when I saved Uraraka. There's 10 months before the UA exams, so I decided to build up my strength by cleaning the Dogaba Municipal Beach. It was kind of difficult at first, but remembering Gran Torino and Midnight's lessons, I quickly got motivated and cleaned it up in 5 months. The rest of the time I decided to test my limits and go past them, to make sure I was extra ready to take UA by storm. I even got some ideas for ultimate moves for the future. Oh, I forgot to give a full rundown on my quirk. At first I was going to call it Instincts, but I decided since I wanted to make it to UA and work harder than anyone and go plus ultra, I decided to give it the name Ultra Instinct. Allows the user to move and fight without thinking. Can be used to sense others' energy and can even adapt to others' body heat if DNA is burned by the heat of the quirk. Emits energy and heat that can be used in a variety of ways. Level 1 Instincts, essentially just an enhanced version of the body. Anyone can learn it, however, the quirk Ultra Instinct makes the user faster and it is also more effective, other than if you didn't have the quirk. The body senses, abilities, and instincts go through the roof. If fine-tuned enough, whether you have a quirk or not doesn't matter. You're able to use energy in this state and can even control your body heat, but you can't emit it. This only applies to if you have the quirk. Level 2, Ultra Instinct Omen. This is where the instantaneous movements come in. So fast that instincts seem like turtle movements in comparison. However, this level cuts your strength immensely, so it's probably best when you're facing multiple enemies or you can't fight back. Sensing abilities are greatly improved, so you can sense others for miles. You can use and emit your heat and manipulate it any way you choose. Level 3, Ultra Instinct. This is where you can actually move and fight without thinking. The full force of your attacks can be unleashed without trouble. Much like Level 2, you'll be able to use energy and heat, although they are much more powerful in this state. Sensing abilities are at its strongest and the possibilities are almost endless. Strength isn't even a question at this point. It's technically not possible to measure the amount of strength and speed you have. Only a well-trained body can even begin to withstand this power. So much that I had to do to finally get to this level. But it was all worth it. It improved my personality, and thanks to some advice, I can definitely manipulate people easily. I carry myself as lazy, carefree, arrogant, and overconfident type of guy. That is all just a mask. It's used to try and rile up my enemies or get them to underestimate me. Only a select few know my true nature. It feels so good to finally have control over my quirk. Next stop, UA. I can't wait to shove my growth in Kaken's face. Chapter 2, Entrance Exam. I fly through the air like normal using the energy from my quirk, reminiscing about the past. I really have grown. I can't wait to shove my growth in Kaken's face. He'll be all like, Deku, how did you get so strong? Or, Deku, you're still not better than me. Deku this. Deku that. It's honestly sad how childish Kaken really is. After I left, his ego probably grew. I can't wait to shatter it. I devilishly smirk at the thought. I fly even faster towards UA. But then I remember something. As a faint blush dusts my cheeks, I wonder if Ochako will be there. Usually I wouldn't have called her by her first name, but to me the name is beautiful, so I say it as a compliment. I really hope she is. I promised her that the next time she saw me I'd be number 1. I technically could have entered UA through recommendations, but I figured I scout out the competition. And plus, there's always the chance that our future OFA holder would be there, and it's my job to train them. I really hope you're there. Ochako. Now maybe I could have found another successor, but Ochako has untapped potential and I'm gonna unlock it. By the time I'm done with her, she will be a top 3 hero. I promise that. UA comes into view and I land a little ways from it as to not draw too much attention. You see, during my training I had to work on my body a lot. Like a lot. My jawline is much more defined along with my face, my muscles are barely contained by my shirt. However, I still have a slender figure as to help me move faster. I also have a rock-hard 8-pack that is very clearly visible. Due to extensive exposure to Midnight and her sadistic side, I know very well when people are watching me and the emotions that fill their gaze. I am not dense. I can sense girls getting nosebleeds while looking at me walk up to the entrance exam location. I chuckle at that fact. So much for going unnoticed. Oh well, at least people didn't see me fly. After I finished my training with All Might, he said it would be best not to flaunt my quirk. As powerful as I am, it would raise too much suspicion and villains could target me, the school, or my friends and family to try to get their hands on my quirk. Not that it would do them much good. But still, I walk up to the location and look at the building. This is it. Suddenly, my senses go off and I turn my head to see a pretty girl about to trip. My body already wants to move and is just waiting for my command. One of the perks of extensive training of my quirk and my regular instincts, my eyes widen a little, is that the girl trips, but before she hits the ground I caught her.
I'm thankfully saved her.
However, she was at least 50 feet away from me. Oh! She screamed. I grabbed the bridge of my nose with my fingers. I really need to learn how to dial back my power. You know, I believe the last time we met, you were screaming as well. I said, you haven't changed a bit, Ochako. The girl gets confused as to how I know who she is and why I said her first name. She takes a good look at me before completely turning red while noticing my obvious features and remembering who I am. Oh my gosh. It's you. You're the boy who saved me all that time ago. Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku, she said while smiling and pumping her fist into the air, while also blushing. Wow, you seem to remember me quite well, I said while giving her a smirk. She blushes while pouting cutely. Oh, of course I remember you. You showed me what a true hero was that day. And I really look up to you. She mumbled that last part, however, I still heard. I heard that last part and gave her $1 million smile which made her blush. Oh, I say with an exaggerated tone. My #1 fan. I'm so touched, I said while wiping a fake tear. She playfully punches me on the shoulder. Yeah, well, you remembered me too, and also used my first name without my permission, she says while thinking she trapped me. I simply smirked and said, I think it's a beautiful name, almost as beautiful as you are. So I say it to compliment you. She immediately turned red. I smiled at this. So, Yue, you think you're ready? Well, yeah. I've been training really hard for this. And you always seem to motivate me to try even harder, she said enthusiastically. Oh, you're not falling for me, are you? I asked while she blushed. WW what? I start laughing hysterically and then she touched me and I started to float. That's for teasing me, she said with her arms crossed and back turned. Oh, come on. I was joking. Look, what do you want me to do? Do you want a hug? She turns red again and turns around about to retaliate until she notices me in the same place she left me, not even rising or lowering. Just floating. How are you just floating there? You should be up in the sky. I smiled and let myself down, and she seems to be very surprised. You didn't know? I can float. I explained, and her jaw dropped. Are you serious? I chuckle at this. Can you release your quirk? If I stop keeping myself on the ground, then I'll really float away. She nods and releases her quirk. Wow, that's such a cool quirk. That's only a part of my quirk. She gets surprised again, which I chuckle at. Wow, you are really awesome. And you have such a cool quirk. It's no wonder you saved me back then. Makes me look weak, and my quirk looks stupid, she said with her head down. For the first time in this conversation, I get serious, and I put my hands on her shoulder to get her to look directly into my eyes. I put my face so close to her that she is mere inches away. She then turns red at this. Listen to me, I began. You are not weak. In fact, I think you're strong. You don't have the flashiest quirk, or the strongest. Yet here you are at the entrance exam at the most prestigious high school for heroes. I can tell you're gonna be an amazing hero. I know because you're exactly like me. Some people think you are not fit to be a hero, or don't give you the time of day when you want to help those close to you. But I believe in you. I know that you will become one of the greatest heroes. And I'm gonna help you. I promise you this, Ochako. You will get enough money to support your parents, I say as I flash a bright smile at which she blushes even more. How did you know that? Call it a sixth sense. I can easily tell things about people that most others can't. Thank you, Deku. I really appreciate this, she says as she hugs me really tight. I smile before I whisper, you're totally falling for me. She turned red and punched me in the shoulder. Shut up. Now come on, we're gonna be late. Before she could leave, I grabbed her and picked her up bridal style. She turned red and looked at me. We can get there must faster like this, I explain. She looked at me confused, but after one blink, we were already inside and in our seats. She widened her eyes while looking at me. I shrugged smugly and she cutely pouts. President Mike came and started explaining to us all the rules to us. Everything was going well until some tall blue-haired kid interrupted President Mike. I started cracking a few jokes to Ochako, at which she giggled and started whispering stuff to me. Unfortunately, the blue-haired kid heard. You there, with the brown hair and round face. You should dash. He didn't even finish before I interrupted. You should mind your own business and let President Mike finish what he was saying. And don't talk about Ochako like that, will ya? Or I'll take that stick that seems to be lodged in your butt and shove it down your throat, I yelled, which the whole crowd shuddered at the thought. President Mike's sweat dropped, and the blue-haired kid got a look of fear on his face and sat down. Then President Mike continued, don't you think that was a little much? Ochako whispered to me, sorry. I get really protective of people I care about, especially since I haven't had a lot of friends. Don't worry, Deku. You have me now, I smile. Thanks, Ochako. We all head to our respective fake cities once we left, and Ochako and I ended up in the same city. I was gonna head over to her before I'm stopped by the blue-haired kid. What are you doing? Are you going to distract her? You should dash. He didn't even finish because he removed his hand once he started getting burned due to the heat coming off of me. Look here, buddy. I'm gonna go wish her good luck. I'm in a slightly good mood, which is why your hand didn't get burnt to a crisp. Now, if you will, I walk over to Ochako. Hey, Ochako. Good luck. Thanks, Deku. I'd wish you luck, but I know you'll do awesome. I chuckle before President Mike starts the exam. I immediately get in my stance and the gates open. I run at about 20% of my speed as to not raise too much suspicion. However, I still looked like a blur that rushed past everyone and came back with my hands in my pockets after 10 seconds. Everyone is just staring at me. What? There are still robots left, Gio. That seemed to wake everyone up and they rushed to get points, although it was way more difficult because most were destroyed by me. I got 130 points, so it's safe to say I passed. I spent the rest of my time help others in danger. Meanwhile, with the judges, this year's students look promising. Oh, I agree. Especially that green-haired fellow. I couldn't see him get any points. He's very fast. Dang right he is. Oh? Do you know him, All Might? All Might. I'm not the only one. Right, Midnight? Gasp, is that my little Izuku? Oh, he's grown up so much. He's become quite handsome as well. back at the exam. I've already helped a couple of people, so I think I'm good. I suddenly hear the ground shake and it reveals the dreaded zero-pointer. Everyone immediately retreats while I just stay there not even flinching. That thing is gonna cause a lot of destruction, so I guess I should take it out. I was walking towards the giant robot until I see Ochako stuck under a piece of rubble. I was gonna go to her until I started hearing her. Ugh, this thing is stuck. I'm gonna get crushed by the robot. No, Deku wouldn't give up, so neither will I. He once said, despite what the world claims, you don't need a quirk to become powerful. Like Deku, I'll be strong, even if I'm at my limit. She suddenly begins lifting the rock on her leg with a fire in her eyes that makes me smile. She lifts it and tries to crawl away, but she isn't fast enough and the zero-pointer is about to crush her. It seems like it's over until the leg stops and she looks up at me holding the zero-pointer with my arm smiling. Deku, I knew I was right about you. I really like you, Ochako. You're a perfect successor. Well, I like you too. But what do you mean successor? You'll find out later. Do you mind if I destroy this robot for trying to hurt you? She nods and my smile turns into an angry scowl. This is for trying to hurt Ochako. I suddenly raise my arm while holding the robot and throw it away that makes it land on the ground. But I don't stop there. I jump up and cock my arm back for a punch and it lands and shatters the robot into pieces. Everyone has their jaws to the ground. I simply walk back to Ochako and pick her up bridal style. Let's get you a nurse. And then, I'll personally train you. You're one of the strongest, I promise. Yeah, let's do it. I then walk away like I didn't shatter a gigantic robot, with everyone looking like their eyeballs are about to fall out of their eye sockets. Chapter 3. The New Successor. Man, today was too easy. I didn't even break a sweat. Sure, I got 130 points, and I may have gotten some extra points for rescue points, but still the zero-pointer wasn't even a challenge. At least I saved Ochako, I thought. I sigh as I head towards the beach where I'm meeting All Might. Well, besides the complete bore the entrance exam was, I was able to find a suitable successor in Ochako, and I'm super glad it's her. My suspicions were confirmed. As I walk towards the beach, I suddenly remember, I can fly. I facepalm myself and get ready to take flight until I hear a call from behind me. Hey DKU, wait up. I turn to see the new successor in the flesh. Hey Ochako, what's up? Well, I wanted to catch up with you and to say thanks for saving me. You told me you would get stronger, but I definitely didn't expect this. You totally caught that giant robot with one arm. You didn't even look tired or strained, she exclaims while pumping her fist into the air. I chuckled and put my hand on the back of my head. Yeah, well, I said I'd become strong, so I did. And I'm gonna get you strong too. You have incredible potential. And you being the new successor will only help. About that, what do you mean by successor? She asked. It's better if you come with me to the beach and then I'll explain. I replied, okay, cool, get on my back. I said, which received a slight blush from her. What? Why? I tilt my head in confusion. We're going to fly to the beach. She then looked at me with wide eyes. You can fly? She exclaimed. I chuckled at this. I could have sworn I told you that. You said you could float, not fly. She replied. I implied it. Anyways, let's go. She then got on my back. You ready? Asked.
Yeah.
She replies with a blush. I notice this and chuckle. All right then, let's go. Wait, what dash? I then zoomed off into the sky and started flying to the beach with Ochako holding on for dear life. She managed to say, relax. You'll get used to it. I yell in the air. After 3 minutes of flying and eardrum shattering screaming from Ochako, we arrived at the beach. Ochako's hair is all over the place and she looks like she just got out of a tornado. I use all my strength to hold me back from laughing, but little ounces of uncontrollable laughter leak out, which earns me a glare full of killer intent from Ochako. Suddenly a man in a trench coat walks up to us. Of course it's All Might in his skinny form, but Ochako doesn't know this. Ah, young Midoriya, I see you brought the new successor, All Might said. Ochako looks confused. Deku, who's this? She asks. Then the skinny man turned into a debatably drug-affected buff beast. All Might? Ochako exclaimed in surprise. That's right, young one. I have trusted young Midoriya here with finding me a new successor to inherit my quirk. I see that you are the successor. Isn't that right? I nod in response. Tell me, young Midoriya, is she your girlfriend? I look at Ochako, who turned red at the claim. Then I look back to All Might and flash a smile. Yep, I say as I suddenly got smacked in the back of the head. What's wrong with you? Don't lie to All Might like that, she said while blushing. Hey, what was that for? Asked. Humph, don't play dumb, she said as she turned around, still blushing, with her arms crossed and back facing me. Hey now, don't be like that. What do you want, a handshake? A high five? A hug? A kiss? She turns even redder and then sticks her tongue out at me. I'm gonna hug you, I said while smirking. No, stay away. Stay away. Not giving her a chance, I immediately hug her, not letting her escape. I've caught you, Ochako. You are now in the midst of a hug. Surrender, Ochako. Surrender, I jokingly said. At first she half-heartedly resisted, but then she decided to give in and hug me back while laughing. Ah, fine. I surrender. I let go and she visibly pouts, to which I chuckle at. I hear chuckles from All Might as well. So, how certain are you that she's ready, young Midoriya? He asks. I turn to examine her for a bit, then I turn back. I'd say she's ready, although she would most likely not be able to control it. So I decide that for the 4 weeks we have until UA starts, I'm gonna train her to control this power and help her grow. Excellent, young Midoriya. Then All Might began telling her everything about One for All. So, young Uraraka, are you ready to take on my quirk? She looked up with determination in her eyes, and it makes me smile. Yes, I will make you proud, she exclaimed. Excellent. Now, he takes a piece of hair off of his head. Eat this. She suddenly paled, and I started looking like a puffy-cheeked lunatic by how badly I wanted to laugh right then and there. What? She managed to say. She then turns to me as for some sort of confirmation. You heard the man. You want to be the next successor or not? I said while still holding back my laugh. Come on. You have to have my DNA in you. Besides, this is the least gross way to do this, All Might explained. She gulped and shakily grabbed his hair and ate it. Congrats, young Uraraka. You are now the 9th user of One for a dash. Suddenly his sentence gets cut off by him reverting back to his skinny form and spitting blood everywhere. Ochako screams in surprise as I couldn't contain my laughter anymore and just erupted on the floor, laughing my head off. Ochako turns red in embarrassment and kicks me in the side. She, however, gets shocked as I'm still on the ground laughing as if nothing happened. She kicked me again, only for the same thing to happen. What? But I dash. Oh, Ochako, I said while cutting her off and standing back up. You're simply not strong enough to be able to hurt me yet. Starting now, I'm gonna be your trainer. Just to let you know, I'm very impatient. So you're gonna be the strongest of our first-year group, or you won't be. Simple as that, I said. Ochako shudders at what I could possibly make her do, and I devilishly smirk. Week 1. Ochako trains with One for All only to find out that she can't control it, breaks a bunch of bones, and so we had to call up Recovery Girl, and she was clearly not happy. Week 2. I had Ochako do certain things to try to get her in more control. Things like meditation and practicing balance. Week 3. Ochako learns how to control One for All to a certain percentage and part of her body. I ruthlessly make her train until she gets a higher percentage. She would drop dead in the middle of our training, but I would simply give her energy and then make her do it again twice as hard. It's now week 4 of Ochako's training, and I've been pretty rough on her. I only did it because it's how I was trained, so I thought it would do her some good. I told her about Kaken and his ruthlessness, so now she's more motivated than ever to help me shut him up. I've never loved her so much. Okay, Ochako, you've mastered 20% of One for All. I'm not surprised. I said I was impatient and wanted to get you strong, I said proudly. Thank you, but it's all thanks to you. You're a really tough trainer. She replies. Okay, back to business, I said. You're improving, yes, but you have a weakness. She looks at me confused. Come. I'll show you, I reply. She got in a fighting stance while I just stood there with my hands in my pocket. She then rushed at me and let 20% of One for All go through her arm and tried to punch me. I, however, swiftly took out my hand to catch the powerful punch with ease. I then just as swiftly proceeded to punch her in the stomach, causing her to spit out saliva. The way you fight resembles a one-shot, one-kill type style, I explained, What if your opponent dodges your attack? Or is simply strong enough to block it? Then you'll be finished. She backed away from me and nodded. You don't want to have only one place to release your strength from. You want to be able to release powerful attacks from all your limbs. Try letting one for all course through your entire body. She nods and begins trying my suggestion. I can see one for all coursing through her veins. Then pink electricity starts going haywire off of her. Good. We'll work on controlling the electricity output later. For now, come at me. She nods and rushes at me with amazing speed. She appears in front of me and tries to land a punch. I simply catch it, and she did the unexpected and swept my leg and then tried to punch me as I was going to fall on my back. I catch the punch, but I let her stay in the motion and use the momentum to turn in midair and send her to the ground with my foot on her back and her arm in my grasp, ready to snap it at any moment. Ow, wow. How did you turn in midair? I simply smirked and said, training. I'll teach you that later. But for now, I have to say I'm impressed. This is definitely a better way to use one for all. Now you can truly make this quirk yours. Oh, let's call this new thing one for all, full cowling. She smiled. Yeah, let's do it, Deku. For the rest of the week, we trained with full cowling to reduce the strain and make it easier to use. We also tried to increase how much she can use. She's gone up to 25%, but it strains her, so she can use 20% with ease, but we'll have to train some other time to get 25% down. Ochako drops to the floor in exhaustion. Ugh, I feel like I can't even move, she complained. I chuckled at this. Do you want me to carry you home? I suggested. Could you? I chuckled again before picking her up so that she can rest her head on my shoulder, and I lightly flew to her home. When I got to the door and knocked, a woman appeared. She looked a lot like Ochako, only older. Oh, who are you? The Ochako look-alike said. Oh, you must be Ochako's mom. She nods and chuckles a little bit. Ochako, huh? You must be close, she said while still chuckling. I rubbed the back of my head with free hand. Well, you know, I've been training her to get all strong for UA. She's been making excellent progress. Ochako's mom smiled at me. That's good to hear. She then notices Ochako holding on to me while I carry her. She seems tired. Yeah, she worked real hard today. She asked me to carry her, so I did. Is she asleep? Her mother asked. I looked down to see her eyes closed, but I can sense she's still awake. I smirk at the thought. This is going to be good. It sure seems that way, doesn't it? I say while chuckling.
Anyways, I'm Izuku Midoriya.
It's a pleasure to meet you, she lightly gasps. Oh, my gosh, I can't believe I'm finally meeting you, she happily exclaimed. I tilt my head in confusion. Ochako talks about you all the time. Ever since she was just 7 years old, it would be, Deku this, or Deku that. She explained. I could feel Ochako's face get hotter, but I smirk and ignore it. Oh, really now? How interesting, I said with a sly smirk. Komein, I should make you something. You can set Ochako down on the couch. I nod and walk and sit on the couch. I try to take her off of me, but she won't budge. She's clearly resisting. I could simply just pry her off of me, but if she wants to stay latched onto me, then so be it. Suddenly, a man with short blonde hair walks in and narrows his eyes as he looks at me sitting on the couch and Ochako latched onto me. I can only assume it's her dad. Then her mom walks in and giggles at the sight of Ochako latched to me. Honey, who is this boy on the couch? And why is our daughter seemingly stuck to him? He sternly asked. The famous Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku. She replied with a chuckle. His eyes widen a little. So you're the big hero that my daughter is always talking about. I've been dying to meet you myself. I chuckled a little.
Im Noaru.
I simply saved your daughter that day. It was the right thing to do. Besides, I don't want to be any hero. I want to be the greatest hero. Pillar of hope to all. They will see me and know that they are safe. It's always been like that for me, I said while smiling. Her dad smirks a little. That's quite the ambition. What about our daughter? He asked. Simple, really, I replied, to which they both raised an eyebrow. She's gonna be right there with me at the top. I'll make sure that she's one of the strongest heroes ever. I promise you that. They both smile. Well then, you have my permission to date my daughter, Ochako's dad said. Ochako turned bright red and I smiled at this. Of course, I will train, protect, and love your daughter forever," I said while flashing my $1,000,000 smile. "I can sense Ochako's happiness and it only makes me happier." "That's good to hear. By the way, honey, I think the stove's broken. I won't be able to make noodles," Ochako's mom said. "Don't worry, Mrs. Wararka. I can heat it up for you," I said as I got up with Ochako refusing to let go of me. I went to the kitchen, saw the noodles and heated it up and came back 1 to 2 minutes later with ready-made noodles. "Here it is. I made the noodles," I said. "Wow, thank you. Is that your quirk?" Chaco's mom asked. "It's a part of my quirk, yes," I replied. Just like that, we hit it off. Ochako still pretended to sleep as an excuse to hold on to me, and I really hit it off with her parents. They really seemed to like me. They even offered me to stay the night since the first day is tomorrow. I accepted, and I'm now bringing Ochako into her room. I turned on the lights to a pink room with a regular-sized bed and a dresser next to it. I even see some papers on the ground that have drawings on them. And what do you know? I'm on one of them. I chuckled at this and sit down on her bed. I know you're not really asleep, right?" I said while chuckling. She raised her head off of my shoulder and gave me a smile while making herself comfortable on my lap. I figured, but I thought it'd be weird to wake up while you were hitting it off so well with my parents. She replied. "So, did you really mean it?" she asked. "Mean what?" I replied. "Do you really love me?" she hopefully asked. I stare right in her eyes and put my face mere inches away from her, at which she blushes. "Do you want me to spell it out or something?" I jokingly ask. She then pushes me on the bed and pins me down. "I believe you once said during training that I could never pin you down by the end of these 4 weeks," she said with a smirk. "You really shouldn't let your guard down." I smirk at this. "My guard is always up. I just think you want to kiss me," I replied. She smiles and then sure enough, she kisses me. It felt weird. Not like a bad weird, like a WH weird. I carry myself to be confident, but in reality I never thought something like this would happen, especially with my rough childhood. Her lips tasted like strawberry mochi. I felt an unnatural surge of happiness fill me. I didn't want to end it, but I figured that maybe she wanted to stop, so I slowly pulled away only for her to immediately reconnect our lips, and this time much deeper. She clearly didn't want this to end anytime soon, so I just went with it. Our lips danced off of each other countless times, constantly separating and reconnecting only to go deeper and deeper into the kiss each time. It was the very best moment of my life. She slowly pulled away after about 10 minutes. "Deku?" she asked. "Yes, Ochako. I love you. I know you do." She giggles as she takes her comfortable position on top of me, gives me another kiss for about 10 seconds before she puts her head on my chest and goes to sleep. I smile at this and kiss her forehead, earning me a smile from her, while she sleeps, and I go to sleep as well with only one thought going through my mind. I will murder anyone that tries to touch her. Chapter 4. UA. I woke up with the biggest smile on my face and I couldn't tell why. Maybe it's because today's the day I shut the angry Pomeranian's mouth. I try to adjust my eyes to the sunlight coming through the window, and once I do, I notice an abnormal amount of pink in the room. Must be a nightmare. I then try and get up, but I feel a weight on my chest. Don't tell me I went to sleep with weighted clothes again. I was given weighted clothes during my training to build up my body and strength. I was planning on giving Ochako some, but that will have to wait. I then look down to see a mess of brown hair and a girl to hold that head, and I realize I'm in Ochako's room. Nope, not a nightmare. A dream. I pinch myself and I'm apparently not dreaming, and that only makes my smile bigger. I turn to look at the alarm clock. 7:15 a.m. 45 minutes until the day starts. I guess I missed my daily morning workout. I'll just work twice as hard later. Maybe I can ask Ochako to join me? Yeah. Then I'll make her do morning workouts too. I'm snapped out of my thoughts when I hear Ochako starting to snore a little louder. I smile at this and gently try to wake her up. "Hey, Ochako, it's time to get up," I said. She slowly stirs awake, yet her eyes remained closed, and she starts holding on to me tighter. "Deku. 5 more minutes. Maybe 10, she says while slurring her words. I sigh at this. I have no problem if she finds my chest comfortable, but we can't be late, and besides I need to get back to my place to get my uniform. I was gonna wait to do this, but I guess it will wake her up. I then proceed to pluck a piece of her hair off of her head. Ow! she said while immediately waking up and looking at me. What was that for? She yelled. You wouldn't wake up. I nonchalantly replied. She then glared at me as if to say, you better have a better explanation. I get the message and explain. Okay, look, you wouldn't wake up, and besides I've been meaning to do this for a while now. If I take someone's DNA and burn it with the heat of my quirk, that person becomes immune to being burnt. I explained. She softens her look and it morphs into one of surprise. Whoa, really? That's very useful, she says. I gently take her off of me and proceed to stand up. While holding the hair in my hand, it then goes up in smoke and a pink color flashed around me for a moment before I went back to normal. What was that? That was my quirk reacting to your DNA. I replied. That's really cool. All right, well, I should go. She tilts her head in confusion. Why? She asked. I'm still pretty new to this, but I assume you don't want me showering with you. I reply. She immediately turns red, to which I laugh at. In all seriousness, my uniform is at my house and we have to get ready. She nods as I turn to leave. Wait, she called out. I turn and she got off of the bed and came up to me and kissed me for a couple seconds before pulling apart. I'll see you at school. Don't let any girls take my spot, okay? I smile. No girl will ever take your place, I said while flashing that $1 million smile of mine. She smiles back at me as she hugs me and waves goodbye. I leave the house after saying goodbye to her parents and I fly back home. 7:50 a.m. I got here a little later than expected. The uniform was a little too small for me, but I managed. I'm now in the hallways looking for my class, which is Class 1A. Class 1A, Class 1A. Class 1. I stop at the sight of a comedically large door. Now that's a door. I wonder who will be in here. Knowing my luck, the blue-haired kid along with Kakin will be in here. I open the door and sure enough, both of them are in there arguing about something. Get your feet off the desk. Have you no respect for the people that have come before us? The blue-haired guy said. So, that stick up your butt coming are anytime soon? Or were you just born with it? Kakin smugly asked. Why is it always me? Let me restart. I'm Tenya Ida from Sumai Academy. The guy now named Ida said. Sumai, huh? You must think you're better than me. I'll enjoy crushing you. Kakin replies. You dare threaten me? Your own classmate? Are you sure you're in the right class? Ida replied. Trust me, dude. He's in this class and against my constant protests. I guess people don't take the word of a student as seriously. I specifically remember telling them, beware the boom boom boy. Yet here we are, I said. A couple kids chuckled at my comment while Kakin glared at me. Who do you think you're talking to, extra? Boom boom boy yelled. Extra? I know I'll need extra hands just to try and soothe my head from hearing your voice, I replied. Even more kids began chuckling. You got a problem side character? He continued. Yeah, it began when you opened your mouth. Of course, the best problems are problems that solve themselves, so do me a favor and close it. Preferably permanently. Now the whole class began cracking up. Kakin glared at me some more until he starts recognizing me. Oi, who are you? I'm irritated by looking at you. I must know you from somewhere, he said. How very observant, Kakin, I replied. His eyes start to widen a little. Deku, he starts and almost immediately starts erupting into laughter. I can't believe they let a loser like you into the school. Last time I saw you, IT was on the ground with me standing over you. You've got some nerve coming here. I sigh at this and shake my head, still as childish and ignorant as ever. Kakin. What do you mean loser? That kid is the one who got the highest score in the entrance exam and became freshman representative. Ida explained. Kakin immediately stopped laughing and became wide-eyed. What? He yelled. That's right, boom boom boy, I said with a smirk. He then glared at me until he sat back down in his desk, seemingly in thought. Suddenly, Ida comes up to me.
I'm Tenya Ida.
I observed you during the entrance exam, and I must say that you are very interesting. At first I thought you had a heat quirk, then a speed quirk, and then a super strength quirk. He explained. Do you have 3 quirks? Nope, just the one. Although I didn't use mine during the exam. I replied. Interesting. Are you saying that what we saw were merely your skills outside of your quirk? Basically, I find that hard to believe. Most people do. But you'll only see my quirk if I deem you worthy, I explained. Worthy. Yeah, war dash. Suddenly, I'm interrupted by someone jumping on my back and covering my eyes, whole simultaneously pushing me forward. Arg. What are you doing? Ask. No answer. But I hear faint giggles. I know it's you, Ochako. Now will you get off of me? I plead. No. She replied. I sighed. This might take a while. Why not? You weren't complaining last time. In fact, you asked me. She argued. That was completely different, and you know it. Besides, this is embarrassing. We're making a scene. I said. Sure enough, the class was just staring at us, most with amused faces. Some pink girl was whispering and giggling with some floating clothes. They seemed to be looking directly at me, or more specifically my shirt. It is tight for a reason. I can feel Ochako getting angrier and angrier, as I'm sure she notices as well. I was about to speak until someone interrupted me. If you're here to mess around, then leave. A monotone voice said. We all turned to see some giant caterpillar, but I can somewhat recognize him. Hello. My name is Dash, he started until I interrupted. Shota Aizawa.
Prohiro eraserhat.
Quirk. Erasure. You can erase the quirk of anyone you look at. The exception is that the effects wear off once you blink. Not a lot of people know about you since you tend to keep away from the media. I explained. The whole class except for Ochako was shocked. You really know your stuff, kid. He replied with a sly smirk. Tsh. Nerd. I heard Boom Boom Boy say. I heard that exploder brains. I replied, to which he scowled angrily. As the kid said, I'm Mr. Aizawa. Put these on and meet me outside. We take the clothes and go outside. Outside. What about the opening ceremony? The pink girl asked. Here at UA, we aren't tethered to tradition, meaning I can run my class however I see fit. He explained. We will be doing a quirk apprehension test to see where your limits are and how much potential you have. Whoever comes in last has none and therefore will be expelled. The entire class except me, Ochako, and Boom Boom Boy gasped. But that's not fair. The floating clothes said. This world is full of unfairness. It's time you learn and accept that. These 3 years are not going to be some cakewalk. Bakugo, what was your farthest throw in middle school? He asked. 67 meters. Now try using your quirk. He grabs the ball and shoots a glare at me, to which I smile at him as to make him even more angry, and it works. Die! He shouted. The ball went soaring with an explosion from his quirk. He ended up getting 800.5 meters. Whoa! The class said. Kaken smirked and shot a glance at me, only to find out that me and Ochako were obnoxiously yawning. The whole class begins to look at us. I finish my yawn to see them staring at me. What? Weren't you impressed by that throw? Some stupid-looking kid with blonde hair and a black lighting bolt on his hair said. Yeah, you were yawning too. Some oddly well-developed girl said while pointing at Ochako. I don't see a reason why we should be impressed. Do you, Ochako? I asked as she shook her head. The class looks at us dumbfounded. Ochako tilts her head in confusion. What? It's the truth, she said. So you guys think you can do better? Some guy with weird elbows said. Definitely, I replied. They all seem shocked at our confidence. Until some grape comes from the crowd and starts staring at Ochako. Her confidence makes her look even hotter. I immediately drop all acts and fire fills my eyes. The pressure coming from my power brings everyone except Ochako to their knees. In the blink of an eye, the grape is shot across the field before anyone even knows what happened. Let me make one thing clear. Ochako is mine and mine alone. If I catch any of you trying to touch her, bother her, or Lord help your soul, if anyone tries to hurt her, I will personally see to your destruction. Are we clear? They all immediately nod and back away from me, even the teacher. I go back to my regular demeanor and turn back to Ochako. She's just been sitting there giggling this entire time. You didn't have to scare them like that, you know, she said while laughing. Yeah, but I wanted to get that out of the way and make sure we were clear, I said as I sensed the grape getting up, and I immediately rush over to him in a blink of an eye. It seemed like I disappeared. They were all surprised and looked at Ochako, who was just looking in my direction. So they turn, and sure enough, there I am right in front of the grape. We're clear, right? I said with sweetest smile ever. In reality, I was just flashing an extremely sadistic smile. He furiously nods before running away. I turn with a smile and walk back to the class who is just staring at me. What? They all suddenly start backing away. I shrug it off and go back to Ochako and peck her on the lips before turning to the class. Come on, are we doing the test or not? I asked. They seemed to snap out of whatever daze they were in and continued. Long story short, Ochako and I basically dominated the whole thing. She even got infinity on the ball throw. I tried to hold back as much as possible as to not blow everyone back, but I ended up doing it anyways and got 524,829 meters. I ended up getting first place with Ochako getting second. Apparently the whole expel thing was a ruse to try to tap into our potential. We ended up leaving, and the rest of the day was normal. I left about to head to train and Ochako jumped on my back again for me to fly to train her as well. She started kissing me very deeply before we actually left though. Makes me wonder how much I impacted here when we were 7. I'm not complaining though, it's really awesome. Everyone else tried to avoid me as much as possible. It made me snicker. I took Ochako and flew to go train before we went home. So do you think they'll be scared of me? I asked Ochako while flying. Probably. But at least I get to have you all to myself, she says while laughing. I chuckled at this. You're very possessive, you know that? I say while still chuckling. Said the guy who sent that grape soaring. She replied, he deserved it. Making a comment like that right in front of me. He's lucky I was in a good mood. I angrily say, she hold on to me tighter. It makes me feel safe and happy that you care about me so much, and that you train me to get strong. Thank you, she said as she kissed my cheek. I smiled. You're welcome, Ochako. Then we keep flying to go train, waiting for our next UA activity. Chapter 5. Deku versus Class 1A. Third-person POV. So what did you find out, Aizawa? The figure asked. Well, Principal Nizu, I found out that he's not using his quirk whatsoever. Aizawa replied. I find that hard to believe. Are you sure it's not super speed or super strength? I've already tried to erase his quirk, but I couldn't. Whether he had one or both of the quirks you just mentioned, I should have been able to erase it. He demolished everyone's scores except for the ball throw. But I know for a fact he was holding back. Aizawa said. Interesting. Nizu said. What do you think we should do? Aizawa asked. Your class was planning on doing hero basic training, correct? Aizawa nods in response. Cancel. I have a better idea. Deku POV. Midoriya Household 7:15 a.m. I walk in after an intense morning workout and I'm so tired and smelly. I know because I spot my mom and she doesn't even look at me. She just points in the direction of the shower. I sigh and head in. After the shower, I go to eat breakfast, and once I'm done, I head for the door before I'm called. Okhani, have a nice day, and say hi to that new little girlfriend of yours. I sigh and facepalm myself. Seriously, Mom, I said. Relax, I'm just teasing, she replied, and Ochako wonders where I get it from. Although, I really want to meet her. You should bring her over sometime. Maybe we can meet up with her family somewhere, she suggested. I quickly turn around and head out the door, not before saying, yeah, I will think about it, B. I fly to school, still tired. I hope something too bad doesn't happen. I'm too tired to deal with any problems right now. I land on school grounds and head to the school. Once I reach the door, I stop. I can sense an incredible amount of built-up anger and fury. I sigh at this, Kakin. Nonetheless, I open the door and sure enough, a ticking time bomb to come rushing at me with his quirk fully activated. I rolled my eyes and sidestepped as I watched the explosive blonde fly himself into a wall. I shake my head in disappointment as the whole class erupts into laughter. This only makes the blonde more angry as he once again charges me with full power of explosive punches that I simply catch with my 2 hands and restrict his arms to his sides. I sigh and walk away. I'm too tired for this. I hear the steam coming out of his ears, but I honestly couldn't care less. He tries attacking me again, only for me to tilt my head in the opposite direction of his attacks. Sigh right, left, right, down, and chop. I read him like a book, and it swiftly turned around and chopped his neck, instantly knocking him out. From an outside point of view, all I did was spin around and he fell to the floor. It's sad how he thinks he's entitled to greatness, yet got beaten by a twirling chop. I get to my desk hoping to sleep, but once I sit in my desk, a certain rosy-cheeked beauty makes herself comfortable on my lap. I smile at her and she smiles back. Hey, I said. Hey, you look tired today. Ochako states as she pecks me on my lips. Yeah, well, I definitely didn't go easy on my training. I said as I kissed her. Wow, you're already so strong. Yet you still push yourself. She said, it's just that I know that no matter how strong you or I get, there will always be someone stronger. I figure if they're gonna be stronger than me, I'll make em work for it. I said as she smiles at me. But anyways, I'm gonna go to sleep. Wake me up when something interesting happens. I said as I pecked her cheek and changed her position so she could be able to lean on my chest and I could wrap my arms around her. She held on tightly to my arms as I drifted off to sleep. 10 minutes later, the teachers walked into the classroom. There was Mr. Aizawa, All Might, Midnight, Present Mike, Ectoplasm, and Nizu. Hello, class. Mr. Aizawa asked in his usual monotone voice. Why are all the teachers here? Chaco asked. Short answer. The green-haired person you seem to be using as a seat. Aizawa replied. Ochako raised an eyebrow. Deku? What? Did he do something? She asked. It's better if he were to be listening. Ectoplasm said. Ochako then turned to me and tapped my cheek lightly.
Stern snort stern de di evil katsudon.
I know. And I'm sorry, but this is the dash. DEKU, she yelled. Wah! I yelled as I jolted up. No. Tell me I didn't destroy my Katsudon? Tell me, Ochako. Ochako was straight up laughing as the rest of the class sweat dropped. Ha! I said as I see the teachers staring at me. Oh hey All Might and
Midnight Sensei.
I say while shuddering at the horrible memories that have returned to me. All Might chuckles and waves while Midnight winks at me, causing me to shudder even more. Ochako raised an eyebrow. What did dash? Don't ask. I cut her off. Anyways, what are you all doing here? Asked. We're here to announce that we will be monitoring the next activity in here. A 19-on-1 handicap match. All Might says. You're not serious. Exactly like All Might said. The class will take part in a match against Midoriya. Nizu spoke as the entire class turned to me to see my left eye twitching in annoyance. I sigh in frustration. I can't believe they woke me up for this. If that's all, then I'd like to go back to sleep and eat Katsudon later. I owe an apology. I said as I pecked Ochako on his cheek and said, Good night, it's morning. Chaco informed me. Right, good morning. I said as I drifted off to sleep, leaving a giggling Ochako and a surprised class. He certainly is an interesting boy, Nizu said as he and the rest of the teachers left. Later, alright, the match will start when I say so. You can only win by knockout, so get ready. Aizawa says. Everyone got in their stance while I just stood there staring, with no emotion on my face whatsoever. Begin! Not even a second later did an explosion-happy idiot come charging at me like a bull seeing red. DKU, I'm gonna kill you. Bakugo yells while charging the biggest explosion he can muster and sends it directly at me. Everyone thought it was over, besides Ochako. I just walked through the cloud of smoke like nothing happened. And if you weren't there, you'd agree. I'm too tired to even begin to take you guys seriously. I said while yawning. Everyone rose an eyebrow. Fine. I know you guys just want to see what I'm capable of, so as a parting gift, I leave you with 15% of my normal power. Without warning, I raised my arm ever so slightly and flicked my wrist, creating a gust so powerful that it blew everyone at the very least 65 meters away, knocking almost everyone out. Only Ochako is left kind of conscious since she's somewhat used to my power, at least 2% of it. I simply fly to Ochako and give her energy until she gets back to full strength. She smiles at me. Couldn't you at least try to make it more fun? She asks while giggling. Well, I said I was tired, and besides it was fun. I blew Boom Boom Boy back the farthest. I said as she laughed at the nickname I gave him. Well, anyways, what now? She asks. Well, they're still not used to my power yet, so they probably won't remember this. But I don't just want you to get strong, I want the entire class to get strong, so I've been observing and I've noticed some major weaknesses that are holding them back, so I'm gonna help. We're gonna be the best generation of heroes the world has ever seen, I said enthusiastically. Yeah, Ochako said as she pumped her fist into the air. By the way, my mom wants to meet you. I said, that would be great. I mean, my parents already love you. I want to have that same effect on your mom, she said while smiling. Trust me, you won't need the effort. I say while chuckling. She tilts her head in confusion. What do you mean? You'll see. I say while still chuckling. She shrugs her shoulders and pulls me in for a kiss. After we separate, I grab her hand and start leading her out of school grounds. Unbeknownst to me or Ochako, the teachers have nearly lost their eyeballs at the display of power without even trying. Some even passed out. That boy is a monster. They all simultaneously thought. That's a wrap on Part 1 Legends. Ultra Instinct Deku is just getting started. And trust me, the best is yet to come. If you enjoyed the ride, smash that like button, subscribe for more insane what if content, and hit the bell so you never miss a moment. And remember, all credit to Definitely Not TKJ for their amazing ideas. Show them some support. As always, thank you for being the most legendary community out there. Until next time, keep that Ultra Instinct vibe strong, and I'll catch you in the next epic part. Peace out.